Have you ever had a business idea that felt exciting? Maybe you even told people about it, you started planning it, you maybe even started building out this idea, only to hit a wall when those doubts creep in, where you're wondering, will anyone actually buy this? You get hung up on whether you're charging too much, whether you're charging too little. All of these doubts, we've all been there, and these doubts can often really stop you in your tracks before you've even given your idea a proper chance. In today's episode, I want to help you quiet those doubts by showing you how to test and validate your idea before you invest time or money into it, because confidence of your offer often comes from more than just this kind of gut instinct. It comes from knowing your clients and knowing that they actually want it and they'll actually pay for it. So whether you're building out your first offer, whether you're creating a group program, or you're just shifting the way you deliver your services, these steps will help you figure out if your idea has legs and if it fits into the bigger picture of your business and what you want, and something that will give you options in the future. If it's your first time here, then welcome. I'm Sumantha, and I really specialise in helping tutors and edupreneurs build their businesses in a way where it's lucrative, but also sustainable, and in a way that protects their impact or even amplifies the impact they make on their clients. We do all of this in a way by building the foundations to give you options in the future, and understanding how you can really make decisions about your business, and understanding how to kind of stress test ideas and how to know whether you should go ahead with them is a really huge part of that. So before we dive into the 3 stages, I want to say this: not every idea needs to become something. Sometimes an idea is simply a spark that leads to something else, an even better idea perhaps, or maybe you scrap it, and all of that's okay. But if you have an idea that just keeps nudging at you, you keep coming back to it, this episode will help you explore it with clarity and intention. You'll walk away knowing whether it's something to pursue now, later, or not at all even. And that kind of clarity is what really helps us move forwards with confidence. It's really impactful. So the first stage is to actually really let your idea sit with you. I've done it plenty of times where I've had an idea, I've opened the computer and I've started working at it because I'm so excited. And then I hit this wall, almost like writer's block, because I haven't actually thought it through. I haven't let it kind of marinate in my mind. So it's really important not to skip this step. So sometimes the best thing you can do when inspiration strikes is nothing, at least not straight away. When an idea lands, I let it sit for a week or two, sometimes longer. And if it still excites me after that time and I just can't stop thinking about it, that's my sign, and I'll start to explore it further. If it fades, then usually it means that it's not really aligned with where I'm heading. Maybe it was just exciting in that moment. So some questions to ask yourself is to ask yourself whether it solves a problem for you as a business owner. Does it move you closer to the way you want to work? Does it light you up? For example, I once seriously, in fact, a number of times, seriously considered hiring tutors in my tuition business because the demand was high. It felt silly not to. I researched the systems, I spoke to parents and tutors, it made business sense, people were up for it. But every time I came close, I just pulled back because it didn't excite me. On the other hand, when I had the idea for Upgrade Your Education Business or the Tutors Mastermind, I really couldn't wait to get it started, and the idea just kept coming back to me. It felt really aligned with my values. It solved a very clear problem that I had because I wanted to help more children. So I knew that by helping tutors, collectively we were helping more children. And I also knew that this is the space I want to be in. I want to work with tutors. So it really lit me up. So although both ideas made sense, the difference between them was that one felt really heavy, it did not excite me, and the other one felt really energizing. And that's a really good sign. The next stage is to actually analyze the big picture. So once your idea passes that excitement test, it's really time to take a strategic view. Where does this offer sit within your business? Does it complement or does it compete with existing services? Is it something that feeds into what you're already doing? Will it stretch you too thin, or will it take energy away from what's already working? I've talked about this before, but I really wanted to create a book club for tutors, for edupreneurs. where we're focusing on these self-development books, we're holding each other accountable, I'm sharing some takeaways, because there are these books that have helped me so much and I wanted to read more of them as well and share that with the community. I did it in the form of a podcast thinking, well, that's going to be quite low effort. And I had loads of sign-ups, loads of interest. It was going really well. And it actually really complemented everything I offered in my business. But the big problem was that it was stretching me too thin. It wasn't sustainable. I was going through a book a month, and that meant going through 1 or 2 chapters, I think a week. I can't actually remember. So it was really heavy. And I just thought, this is spreading me too thin. It's now, I'm risking dropping balls. It means that it's taking me away from my clients. So I tried it, decided it wasn't right for that reason. And so I stopped it. And I actually already, when I was thinking strategically about the idea, it did pop into my mind, what if this doesn't work? So that actually dictated which platform I chose. So I chose a platform where it was really easy to pause people. It was really easy to stop the subscription, if you like, that people were paying. It wasn't very much, but it doesn't really matter. You're still not going to pay for something you don't get. So that strategic thinking, even though I went for that idea and it stopped, the strategic part of that thinking is incredibly important because it will steer the decisions you make so that you can future-proof for the eventualities, for the things you might be worried about. And it means that it's really easy to adapt in those situations. And it is really important to also think about where it sits in your business, because I imagine you have worked hard, or you are working hard to really establish your name, to position yourself as a go-to. I know all my clients are, so you must be, because that's what we want to do. We want to be that go-to. So if we come up with an idea that's really exciting, but if it dilutes what we're offering, or if it dilutes our messaging, we have to take a view that although this could be a great idea, this could be really exciting, my students would really benefit from this, is it going to dilute what you do in your messaging and how you've positioned yourself? And as a result, in the long term, could that take clients almost away from you? On the other hand, it could be that your idea is incredibly complementary and actually it's giving your clients more options. They can stay with you for longer, or maybe you're catering to a different entry point. So maybe you're helping people get ready to work with you in the main capacity. So lots of different ideas, but thinking about it using that big picture thinking instead of getting excited about the idea in isolation is really important for you to figure out how robust that idea is and how you're going to approach it if you go for it, and what you need to put into place as contingencies or what you need to consider. And it can really help to speak to your clients really honestly. When I had the idea of the Tutors Mastermind, I kind of had that Netflix model in my head. So I thought what I would do is people would pay every month and I would release 1 or 2 new training videos every month and all of this, and we'd have the community element. And at the time I was working with loads of one-to-one clients because of the way I was working. And so I spoke to them and I said, I had this idea, what do you think? And all of them said, I love the idea. I love being able to pick and choose, but I would want a bit more of you. I'd want some kind of live element, or, I'd be happy with less training every month, but I'd want something from you. And that helped me shape the Tutors Mastermind to the point where actually when I launched it, I didn't launch it publicly. I launched it with existing clients and they were paying clients and they helped me shape it before I launched it publicly. So it gave me almost this risk-free way of launching something new that was going to cost me money and time because I had to plan it, I had to pay for the tech to support it, but it was risk-free because people had already said, yep, I'm paying for it. That meant that at least my costs were kind of covered. And then I was able to make it into something using the ideas from the very people who are going to use it. So speaking to people, looking around you, all of those things can really help. Decide if an idea is worth going for, but also what it might look like, because your initial ideas may not be the best idea. And then it helps you make decisions about how to build that out. So this stage is about really protecting your brand, your positioning, what you're known for, and how to best serve the customers you serve. But what I was just talking about actually leans into stage 3, which is testing the waters, building a buzz. So don't wait until your idea is absolutely perfect to start talking about it. Float it in conversations with clients, potential clients, because you'll be so surprised at how many ideas can be validated or improved just through simple conversations. Even if you don't have a big client base, you can add a call to action for people to book free calls so that you can start kind of speaking to people. You can mention your idea on social media. You could start a waiting list to gather interest. And all of those things, they do a couple of things. They give you real feedback from the people who matter most, the people who are your potential clients for this idea. It also helps you build interest before you've even launched. And as I shared, that really helped me launch the mastermind, kind of, I don't know what to call it, maybe like a beta launch. I was able to launch it with existing clients rather than being under pressure of launching it publicly and getting clients. You don't need a huge audience to do this. You just need to have a few real conversations with people who match that ideal client profile. And it's important here to be really open to honest feedback. Like I said, the original idea of my mastermind flopped, and actually the mastermind doesn't look anything like the initial idea I had. We reshaped it into something stronger. Another example I'll share is when I was thinking of hiring tutors. I mean, I was very, very close to doing it. What I did was every time I spoke to a new parent, I would ask them, I would say that my availability is really limited. You're going to have to go on a waiting list, which they were happy to do. And I said, however, I'm thinking of hiring some tutors who I will vet and, I will get to know. I'm guaranteeing their quality. Would that be of interest to you? It would mean that you wouldn't have to go on a waiting list. And I remember all of them said, yes, I'd be up for that. It would be great to work with you, but I'd be up for that. I also had on my waiting list an option they could choose where they say, I want to work with you only. I only want to work with Sumantha. And I think it said something like, and I realize that means I'm going to wait for longer, or I'd be happy to work with a tutor who Sumantha has vetted, like something along those lines. I do the same actually with group tuition. I mean, majority of my classes are groups. I think I only have one-to-one. But on the waiting list form, people choose their option as well. And you'd be so surprised that when you ask people the question and you use the right language, you'd be surprised at how many people choose group or how many people choose one-to-one at that stage. But when you then contact them, they are, no questions asked, very happy with your group, because it's all about how you've designed it and how you've communicated it. So really using your audience, using your clients, using the people around you, it goes a really long way into testing an idea, making it strong, but also confidently launching it and knowing what you need to do. I felt safe at that point to hire tutors. I chose not to because it wasn't something I wanted to do, but I felt safe too. And to this day, my mind still goes back to it sometimes. And the only thing that's stopping me is knowing that it's not really something that lights me up. But actually, I have full confidence that it would work because I already have asked that question. I've already tested my market. Now, one little thing I'm going to add in here, whenever you're thinking of an idea about your business, is to always map out, you don't need to go into intricate detail, but map out how it might logistically work. Because something I have learned a couple of times round, like the book club idea, is that sometimes something feels like a great idea and you might have the technology and the help, for example, like you might hire staff or a VA, for example. All of those things might make it more sustainable. But if there's still an element that needs you, you have to sort of imagine, how long is this going to take me? What is the demand from me? And does it lean into, firstly, what I can sustain right now? Secondly, what I can sustain in the future? But thirdly, does it lean into how I actually want to work? Okay, so let's wrap up by having a recap of those 3 stages that will really help you turn your idea into income. The first thing is a kind of intuition check. Sit with your idea, let the excitement guide you before logic takes over. The next thing is the strategic analysis. Make sure the offer fits your business, your goals, your brand, and how you want to work, really. Then think about client validation, talk to real people, test the waters, and then refine your idea based on the feedback, or maybe even co-create it with your clients. These steps combined gives you confidence because you know that, okay, there is a demand for this. I know how I'm going to go about it. I'm really confident this is going to complement my business. But it gives you this kind of clear confidence in whether it's going to sell, which is the thing that stops us often the most. That's the part we hesitate with. So I hope this episode has given you just a really clear way of testing an idea and some things you can do to make sure you're building it in a way where you're not taking, or you're not feeling like you're taking, a really big risk. Thank you, as always, for joining me. You're going to hear from me on Wednesday, and I'm going to sneak in my cheeky request that if you have a quick moment, please leave a review, and if you're watching on YouTube, please hit the subscribe button. See you on Wednesday.